Most people don't realize how addictive sugar really is. Hidden sugar in food is wrecking our metabolism.
Sugar.
The truth is, sugar is slowly destroying our health.
We all love sugar. But पता है पहले ऐसे नहीं था. पहले तो लोग चाय भी बिना शक्कर के लेते थे. But then what happened? How did sugar consumption increase so much, and why can't we stop eating sugar? Okay, let's see. This is sugar. 200 years ago, an average person in India ate 1.8 kilos of sugar in a year. In 2025, an average Indian consumes this amount in just 30 days. So, how did this happen? For that, let's go to New Guinea. This is the place where sugarcane plant was first domesticated. मतलब पहले तो ये सिर्फ wild में होता था. People slowly discovered that this plant had stems that were sweet. Over generations, they picked the best, juiciest sugarcane and planted it again and again. About 3,000 years ago, this special plant spread to India through trade routes. Here we discovered a special way to convert sugarcane juice into something solid. That was called as sakara. Back then, sugar was only taken as medicine in Ayurveda for certain conditions. As years go by, sugar spreads far and wide into Persia and slowly into Europe. But it was very, very expensive. There are even stories that say that sugar was worth its weight in gold. मतलब 1 किलो शक्कर के लिए लोग 1 किलो गोल्ड देने के लिए तैयार थे. 1 kilo sugar costs what? 50-60 rupees right now? But back then, it was meant for kings and royals only. Ordinary people very rarely tasted it, and that also mostly as medicine. But everything changed in 1600s. During this time, there was colonial expansion. Europeans saw sugarcane plantations as a new way to drive their profits. Sugar started flooding the European markets. Sugar made it so much easier to consume tea, chocolates, and coffee, which otherwise are very bitter to consume. And sugar alone increased the tea consumption of UK to 400 times. The middle class started consuming sugar mainly through tea multiple times in a day. This is how something that was luxury was now becoming a part of the working families. By the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution had started. इसका मतलब huge factories and people got fixed timing jobs. मतलब they had to leave their homes early in the mornings and did not have time to cook their meals. But sugar existed as a quick and cheap source of energy. A cup of tea, some bread and jam became their daily diet for the middle class. But still, even in the 1800s, India mein sugar was mainly consumed very occasionally, mostly festivals pe, and this was mostly prepared at homes. In 1991, liberalization happened, जिसके वजह से बहुत सारे बाहर के companies came to India. And along with them, they brought ice creams, sugary drinks, chocolates, cakes, and as years went by, हर चीज में sugar आने लगा. Biscuits, breads, energy drinks, cookies, protein shakes, yes, everything, every single thing has sugar in it.
भी कितना शुगर बहुत एडिक्टिंग है ये.
Addicting? But why is sugar so addicting? This is your brain. Whenever you do something fun, have a walk, play a sport or exercise, eat or laugh, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. This chemical signals the brain and makes you feel happy. When you eat sugar, the same thing happens. Dopamine is released and you feel happy. So you eat sugar once again. Again, dopamine is released and you feel happy. Over time, as you take more and more sugar, each time lesser dopamine is released and it makes you less and less and less happy. Now what your brain does is it tricks you into eating more and more sugar to feel the same level of happiness. As a result, without even knowing, you start consuming more sugar. And this becomes a vicious cycle. The more you eat, the more you crave sugar. So one day you finally decide, no more sugar. But your brain does not know it yet. By now, it is already used to the big dopamine hits that sugar gives. So it eagerly waits for that. But no sugar comes in, so no dopamine. You feel unmotivated and uninterested. You try to distract yourself, but nothing gives you that dopamine hit. Slowly and slowly, now cortisol comes in. This is the stress hormone that makes you feel irritable, anxious, and you have headaches. Some days pass and your dopamine levels are resetting. Now slowly and slowly, you're no longer craving sugar and your brain is rewiring to take you out of the sugar addiction. This is as addictive as drugs or alcohol. Some studies have even shown that it can be worse. So a study was conducted on over 100 children in 2020 and it found out that sugar affects the hippocampus. Okay, let's go back to the brain. This is the hippocampus in your brain. Don't be fooled by its small size. This little part helps you learn things. Remember when you were learning to ride a bicycle or when you were learning a new language, this part of your brain was actually help you do that. And studies show that it directly affects the learning capabilities of the hippocampus. I have linked the studies below, you can check it out. Now that we all know how bad sugar is for us, we might think the solution is pretty easy. Just quit sugar, right? No, it isn't that easy. Why? Because whenever you try to quit sugar, your brain will display withdrawal symptoms like low energy, headaches, and fatigue. And your brain will play many tricks to get you back to your old sugar consumption patterns. So, what is the solution? The solution is what is building India's $1.12 billion sugar-free market. Transitioning directly from high sugar consumption to no sugar is pretty difficult. So using a sugar alternative that does not cause a glucose spike can be a good medium to switch. Glucose spike. Whenever we have some food, it causes an increase in the sugar levels in the blood, which is normal. लेकिन ये बार-बार होना या बहुत frequently होना is harmful. So when you have a sugar alternative like stevia, monk fruit or aspartame, you taste the sweetness on your tongue. Signals are then sent to the brain, but it does not trigger the dopamine systems in the way that normal sugar does. It releases way lesser dopamine. So technically, it is a way to trick your tongue and body into believing that you had something sweet. The consumption of these sugar alternatives have been increasing rapidly. Back in 2022, the market size for stevia, which is a sugar alternative, was roughly $53 million. And in 2024, it grew to $73.4 million, which is almost a 39% increase. Yes, this huge growth comes as a result of Indians becoming more and more health conscious. And also there have been a lot of regulatory support for natural sweeteners as well. India is the world's diabetes capital. And लोगों को इस चीज़ के बारे में awareness भी मिल रहा है. As a result, this is also supporting the growth of the market. According to the data from the IMRSC, the stevia market is projected to grow at 6.1% annually from 2025 to 2033. Okay, let us have a look at this data from Coca-Cola. Coke Zero, which is the no-calorie या sugar-free version of Coke, entered the Indian markets in 2014. From 2019 to 2021, the share of Coke Zero was very less, like in single digits. But in 2023, PepsiCo revealed that 40% of the entire sales volume was from no sugar or low sugar drinks. In 2025, this share is almost 55%. Looking at all of this data, we can clearly see that there is a shift from white sugar to more healthier alternatives. Maybe it's stevia, monk fruit, date sugar, and other options. This shift is giving a rise to a lot of newer brands in this new category. But are these alternative options healthier? Are they really good for the body? So the answer to this is that there are a lot of studies that have been done that show that artificial sweeteners like aspartame are actually harmful to the body. But since this is a pretty new segment, so there are not a lot of researches done on that and studies are still going on. But till date, it is considered that natural sugar alternatives like stevia and monk fruit are overall healthier for us. So the problem is not with the growing consumption of sugar. The problem is with the awareness. Problem is that sugar is present in everything, from sauces to breads to cookies to even health drinks. And honestly, there are no strict regulations on what advertisements can be done around them. Let us look at Horlicks or Bournvita. They are marketed as healthy drinks for children. But if you look at it, they have a lot of sugar in them. These hidden consumption of sugar is something that we need to take care of and create more awareness around. And this is the only way that we can move forward together as a healthy society. So I'm thinking about maybe quitting sugar.